Hmm. Who do we want to play in the first round? That's definitely a loaded question for a Calgary Flames fan, as we have successfully defeated the Winnipeg Jets. My recap of the play-in series is coming here. I'm going to wait till all the games are today going to be in the books here, and to put that in that video on where things are at here. However, we've still got a few days to find out on who we ultimately going to draw in the first round here. As you got to keep in mind here, this is the old conference format here, and everybody's going to get reseeded after the round robin and the playing round here, and then same with after the first round going into the second round here. But one thing we can guarantee is the Calgary Flames will be playing one of the four round robin teams, which will either be the Colorado Avalanche, the St. Louis Blues, the Vegas Golden Knights, or the Dallas Stars here. So I have to ask you out here, who do you want the Calgary Flames to draw here? And I think in this video here, I'm going to come up with two different lists here. As I'm going to think, it's going to be a challenging series either way here. However, what we've built off on beating the Winnipeg Jets here, I think maybe we have a little more confidence going in that we could potentially take on anyone here and ultimately come out on top here. As of this recording here, there's definitely been some interesting upsets that have happened here, and that could potentially happen here, which obviously is going to change the flow of how the playoffs will go here. I did make my pre-NHL bracket challenge bracket where I predicted the round robins and the play-in series as well here. I'm waiting for the official bracket here, and I'll give my predictions on that here. And based on what's happened here, I might have to make two brackets here. One bracket that I'll truthfully make here, but the second one here, I'm going to try to make a joke bracket here and pretend I'm that lady in the office. You always hear with with March Madness how she somehow always wins the polls. She knows nothing about basketball, and she picks her picks based on, oh, this guy looks cute, or I like these colors, or that team name. I might do that as a joke here. But who do you want to play in the first round as a Calgary Flames fan? I think the first list here, we'll just talk about ease of opponent. In my personal opinion, they'll rank from easiest to hardest, who I think we could draw in the first round here. And then my second list here, I'll think of the storylines and potential storylines that come up and go from most juiciest to least juiciest here of the potential matchups here. But at least we still have the luxury that we could still rest up here and maybe get psyched for one of these four teams here. So first, when it comes to the opponents that I think would be easiest to draw here, in my personal opinion, for number one, the easiest I would probably say is the Dallas Stars here. As the Dallas Stars still could be a dark horse team. Has always been looked upon as a dark horse team to potentially, they might go somewhere or they might not here. And Dallas either seems to be either all or nothing here. But of the four teams that are in the round robin that we've listed here, I think the Dallas Stars, of the four here, and this is like pick your poison here, and I don't think I'm going to put any bulletin board material here. I'm just looking at it from these two different angles here, from the easiest artist and storylines here. But I think the Dallas Stars will be the first easiest opponent here in terms of having the best chance to advance here. But now this is where I think it gets razor thin here between 2 and 4 here. I'm going to say number 2 here, I would still say, is the Vegas Golden Knights here. I know that we've had a nice, rivalry with the Vegas Golden Knights as a divisional opponent here. So number 2, I would give it to the Vegas Golden Knights here. Given how the Flames played against the Winnipeg Jets here, and the next day I'll do my series recap here on how we beat the Winnipeg Jets here. This will definitely be a nice series, how we match up with the Vegas Golden Knights, given what we have already done to the Winnipeg Jets here. But I think, it would definitely see the physicality come up here and see who can, outdo each other there. So that'll be number 2 here. And then 3 and 4 here, this is where I go, because it's now razor thin here. I think for number 3 here, I actually would give it a slight edge to the St. Louis Blues over the Colorado Avalanche here. So when it comes to kind of choose your own venture or which poison you pick here, the easiest I'd say would be Dallas. Number 2, I put Vegas. Number 3, I actually put St. Louis. And number 4, I'm going to still say Colorado here. I mean, St. Louis, I know that looking at the season series here, and if any of these teams that we happen to draw in the first round here, I'll do the season series recap of if we played this past season in playoff history here. But I mean, St. Louis, we don't have as much playoff history other than playing them once in 1986 when the Conference Championship there. But I know we lost badly to St. Louis, but that was at the low point, in the third week of November there, and then we made it to a shootout and lost to them here. But St. Louis still kind of scares me, especially with Tarasenko here. And Jordan Binnington, we definitely saw last year what they do, and they're not defending champs for no reason here. And then Colorado, number 4, is still the team that still scares me the most here, just because they showed what they did to us last year in the first round here. And I just feel that Colorado is the best team in the West right now, especially, Nathan McKinnon alone could, steal a series, and that's what he did against us, especially with, Gabriel Landeskog there. And then, Kyle McCarr, the local product, he's definitely proven to be one heck of a stud defenseman for the Colorado Avalanche here. And I mean, it depends on goaltending here, but Phil Grubauer still thinks has what it takes to maybe go on a run here. So that's where I rank it for easiest to hardest here. Now, when it comes to storylines here, this is where I think this would give us the juiciest, most interesting storylines here. And I'll go for most intriguing to least intriguing here. And number 1, I would actually have to say is the Colorado Avalanche. That would definitely give us the most intriguing storylines right now because of what happened last year. That would definitely stir up, last year. And the Calgary Flames, I think, based on what they proved against the Winnipeg Jets in their play-in series here, this team, I think, might have learned from last year to not take, teams lightly here and might be more battle-tested here. But definitely the Colorado Avalanche would definitely, I would say, give us the best storylines here in terms of seeking redemption, seeking revenge here. Potentially, could it be our turn to pull off the upset here? When last year it looked like Calgary was the overwhelming favorite here. But then Colorado tripped us up there. And the fact that, with the round robin and the play-in series here, teams that are coming out of the play-in series will definitely be a lot more battle-tested than the round robins here, because the round robin is basically just a seed in this tournament here, just to kind of give them something to play for, but I feel it's not going to matter as much, depending on where they are, especially being everyone's in a neutral site here. I mean, it's just not going to be as intense here. While the teams coming out of the play-in series, they're definitely going to be already battle-tested, depending on, how battle nutrition works out here. But the Colorado Avalanche, I think, would give us the best storylines. Number 2, well, it's got to be Vegas, which is kind of what I alluded to when I ranked the easiest to hardest here. But Vegas definitely, a new rivalry that's still in the making. Vegas' 3rd year in the league here. And the fact that they have, I think our offense and their offense could stack up one on each other here. And of course, Cam Talbot, he definitely had a strong series against Winnipeg Jets here. Could he be willing to take on? Well, I think he's going to eventually be in the Hall of Fame, Marc-Andre Fleury, and it's just the physical play here. I just think that would definitely make an interesting storyline just behind the Colorado Avalanche on, playing the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round here, if it happens to be that, and just, a Pacific Division rival, just, brewing up this rivalry here, and that's why I also anticipate what will happen eventually. Once the Seattle Kraken come in, is that it'll be another divisional rival for the Calgary Flames here. So that's number 2. Number 3 here, I actually would give it the Dallas Stars here. And I only put it that on in terms of, Alberta and Texas. We've seen a lot of, back especially in the late 1990s there, where the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars played in a few other interesting rivalries there. I think it's time for the Calgary Flames to have their turn to take on the Dallas Stars here, oil, rivalry, Western heritage, hospitality. That'll be the all-Western series. That would definitely be an interesting storylines that could come out from that with the, Wild West in a way. Alberta, Texas, oil. And I guess you can also put in that both teams, you had the Joan Dundike trade, and then the fact that both teams had a tender with Glenn Gulson as head coach here. I'm just kind of picking things out now here. But I think the beginning of the storyline is the Alberta-Texas rivalry. Time for this Alberta team to play on the Dallas Stars. And then last, I put the St. Louis Blues here. Even though they all would make great headlines to come in, and they're all going to be a challenging series in their own unique way here. But number 4, St. Louis, defending Stanley Cup champions. But I just can't really think of, too many other headlines here because the Flames and Blues have only had one playoff series between each other, and that was back in 1986. Actually, the Calgary Flames, going back to the Dallas Stars here, have never played the Dallas Stars in the playoffs here. But if you count the Minnesota North Stars here, the Flames and North Stars only played each other once in the playoffs. And I have to go all the way back to 1981 when the Flames made their first season in Calgary here, which was the conference championship there where we lost to Minnesota that season there. And then, obviously we haven't played Vegas yet, but they've only been in the league for 3 years. And there's divisional rivalry, and then Colorado once, if you don't count the WHA and the Quebec Nordiques here. But I just think for St. Louis, it's just hard to find any intriguing headlines. Both teams have had J. Bowmeister, but he's not playing in this tournament here. I'm just going to say defending Stanley Cup champions, maybe Craig Berube. He played some time with the Calgary Flames on 2 different occasions, but I just think that's how I look at both of the lists here on who do you want the Calgary Flames to play in the first round here. I give my take on strength of opponent, and then I give my take on strength of headline here. And I just think it's 2 different angles to look at it here. Either way, it's still going to be a challenging series for the Calgary Flames, but how they played against the Winnipeg Jets here makes me feel a little better right now that I think the Calgary Flames could potentially maybe do what they sought out to do last year and maybe actually get further in the playoffs. But time to rearrange the scene here. And of course, we're still waiting on when the official opponent is drawn and the schedule here. And of course, then I'll make my first round series preview after I recap the Winnipeg Jets series here. As of this recording here, though, all I can say is that the Arizona Coyotes actually did upset the Nashville Predators here. So right now, the Arizona Coyotes, the 11th seeded Arizona Coyotes, is the lowest ranked team, lowest seeded team that's advancing into the first round here. So barring Edmonton, Chicago here, and actually Chicago was up 2-1 in their best of 5 play-in series here, that maybe the Calgary Flames will not be guaranteed the lowest ranked seeded team go in the first round here. But I also know that as of this recording here, the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights are 1-2 in the round robin, and then the Dallas Stars and the St. Louis Blues are 3-4 here. And looking at the schedule here, both Colorado and Vegas will be guaranteed to be in 1 and 2, and Dallas and St. Louis be guaranteed to be in 3 and 4 here. So it's still a little murky at this point here on who we could potentially draw here, depending on how the other series go here and the round robin here, which is why I made this video, just to say, who do you want the Calgary Flames to draw in the first round here? So anyway, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, home the Flames, Hitman, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I mostly talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, but I also do some personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and I also do share my experience, let's say I'm on the road or at a sporting event here. So if it all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, you know what you need to do. Just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below there for other ways you can follow me there and get some tidbits on what I plan to do on my channel here and any upcoming plans here. And one series that I have been doing on my channel here has been talking about Calgary sports teams from the past here in my Remember the Calgary series here, and it's definitely been fun looking back on teams from the past year. But right now, the Calgary Flames are looking to make history right now here, and depending on who you potentially draw here, it's going to be a tough but intriguing opponent either way here. So I just want to ask you, maybe do what I ranked, strength of opponent and strength of intriguing headlines here. So as I'll say here, go Flames go, and I'll see you in the next video here.